Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Unmute yourself and tell me that you can hear me.
Yes, yes, I can, miss. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are going to start our lesson. It's as yesterday's lesson. It was the comparison. The comparison. Comparison means to compare between two things or more than one thing. I'm going to mute you all to understand the lesson.
Okay.
Okay, our lesson is called comparison. As we said yesterday, comparison it means comparing between two things. If we are comparing between two things, we use comparative form. If we are comparing between one thing and more than one, or one person and more than one, we use the superlative form. Okay, so our lesson is about the comparison, the superlative, and the comparative form. How can we form them? Like this example, for a girl, this girl is short, but that girl is shorter than her, and that girl is the shortest. The shortest. Okay. Okay, so this is an adjective, it describes the girl, and this is the comparative form to compare between one girl and another, and this is the superlative form, which is the shortest. How can we form them? It's too easy. Like this example, Julie is short, it's an adjective. Julie is shorter than Maria. Here I'm comparing between Julie and Maria. Okay, I'm going to admit all to let you enter or join the meeting. Okay, this is the comparative form. Julie is shorter than Maria. Okay, Julie is the shortest girl in class. Shortest with est is the superlative form. Okay, Julie is the shortest girl in the class. We use the comparative to compare between two people or two things. Like this example, my bag is heavier than your bag. Here I'm comparing between my bag and your bag. Okay? How to make comparative adjectives? If the adjective is short, consists of one syllable means one part, we add to the adjective er. Like long, it will be longer, and old, it will be older. If the adjective has got e at the end and I want to add to it er, like large and nice, we add only r, because we have e at the end. Like large, it will be larger. Nice, it will be nicer. Um, if we have got a vowel before the last letter, we double the last consonant or the last letter. Like big, it will be bigger, and hot will be hotter. Okay, we still in the comparative form. If we have got long adjective, two or more syllable means part. If the adjective is big, we add to the adjective before it more. But if we have got er, if we have got, okay, if we have got y at the end of the adjective, What do we do with the Y? We look to the letter before the Y. If it's a consonant, it's not vowel, you can we can omit the Y and add IER. So pretty will be prettier, funny will be funnier. Hannah Muhammad is raising her hand. Yes, Hannah. What's your question? Hmm.
In the previous page, the last adjective we put um we put
Raise your voice, my dear. Hmm.
in the previous page, rule of adjective, or when we have an uh
We have a Y, we omit the Y and add
no,
IER. Hmm.
not this previous page.
Hmm.
The last adjective was to when we find something from I.
Heavier. It was heavy, it will be heavier. We omitted the Y and added IER. As pretty and funny. Heavier is the same. Okay? Did you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask
Uh,
another question?
let's complete. If the adjective is long, we add to the adjective before it more, like more boring, more tiring, more interesting, and so on. There are some irregular adjectives that we have to study them, like good, it will be better in the comparative form. Bad will be worse. Far will be farther or further. It can be with A or U. It can be with A or U. I want you to delay your questions till the end of the session. Try to understand. If you have got a question, delay it to the end or let it to be at the end, because we don't want to miss our lesson or miss our time. Okay, so delay your question till the end. Much will be more than. Many also will be more than. And also little will be less than. Less than. Little will be less than. These are the irregular adjectives. Let's complete. Don't forget, you should use then to compare two things. Like this example, my sister is prettier than Angelina Jolie. Okay, so prettier is adjective. We added to it then to compare between my sister and Angelina Jolie. We will go to the superlative form. What, when do we use the superlative form? I said make your hands down till we end our session. Delay your question till the end, okay? Because we don't want to be confused. We use the superlative to compare more than two people or two things. Example, Sue is the prettiest girl in the class. How can we form the superlative? By adding the and est at the end. The and est at the end. How can we form or make the comparative adjectives or superlative adjectives? By adding est to the adjective and the. Like this example, in this table, you have got the comparative and the superlative. Long, the comparative form of long is longer, and the superlative is the longest. Large, the comparative form is larger, and the superlative is the largest. Big, the comparative is bigger, and the superlative is the biggest. We also doubled the last consonant because you have got a vowel before it. If we have got a Y also at the end and I want to add to it EST, we omit the Y and add IEST, like the comparative form. Pretty, prettier, prettiest. Heavy, heavier, heaviest. Okay? If the adjective is long, consists of two syllables or more than two, we add to the adjective before it the most in the superlative and the more in the comparative. More boring, the most boring. More beautiful, the most beautiful. More interesting, more expensive, the most expensive, and so on. Adjective consists of two syllables or more. Then we have some also irregular adjectives. Good, the comparative form of good is better, and the superlative is the best. Bad, the comparative form of bad is worse, and the superlative is the worst. Far, the comparative is further or farther. It can be with you or are, and the superlative is furthest. Also, we have much or many. In the comparative is more, and in the superlative is the most. Little in the comparative is less, and in the superlative is the least. Okay. Don't forget that we can use the before the superlative. We use the before the superlative, like this example. My My sister is the most beautiful woman in the world. Also, we can use, or also we use with the superlative in or of, in the world or of the world. So the superlative is the, est, or the most plus in or of. Okay. I'm going to send you the PowerPoint of this lesson after the session ends. We often use the superlative with the present perfect simple, which consists of have or has plus the past participle of the verb, like this: she is the nicest person I have ever met. So we can use also the present perfect with the superlative form: she is the nicest person I have ever met, or this is the tastiest meal I have ever eaten, or he is the silliest person I have ever seen. Okay. So I can use the superlative with the present perfect form. The comparative and superlative form adjective of adverb. What do we mean by adverb? We add to the adjective ly to describe a verb. To describe a verb. In the comparative form, we add er. And in the superlative, we add est. Like what? Like fast, it will be faster, or fastest. Okay. Fast, it will be faster, or fastest. Okay. We add to it er in the comparative form, and est in the superlative form. Remember, fast is not an adjective, it's an adverb. It describes a verb. He runs faster than his brother, or she runs the fastest of all. So fast or fast, we can pronounce it fast or fast as you like. It's a British and American. With the American, it's fast, and with British, it's fast. Okay, so we can say it fast or fast. In the comparative, we add to it er, and in the superlative, we add to it est. Like also early. Early is an adverb. In the comparative, we can say it earlier. Can you see we omitted the y and added ier? In the superlative, it's earliest. Earliest. Also like hard. Hard is an adverb. The comparative of it is harder, and the superlative is hardest. Hardest. Give me an example about this. You have to go to bed earlier to get enough to sleep, or enough sleep. Earlier means to be earlier than what you used to do. Okay, so earlier here is an adverb. I can add to the adverb er to describe or express superlative, or est to express sorry, er to express comparative, and est to express superlative. If the adjective is long, or if the adverb is long, consists of two or more syllables, we add before it more. Okay. Like, or and in the superlative most, like this example: beautifully. Beautifully is an adverb. If I want to make it in comparative form, I write before it more. More beautifully. If I want to make it in superlative form, it will be most beautifully. Remember, the part of the lesson that we had explained, you studied it before in fourth primary and fifth primary and so on, but this part is new for you, so concentrate with me, please. The word beautifully is an adverb. Adverb, it describes an action or describes a verb. If I want to make it in comparative form, I can use with it more. More beautifully, more strongly, more dangerously. But if I want to express it in superlative, I use with it most, most beautifully, most dangerously, most interestingly. Okay, so the word with ly is called adverb. Adverb, it describes a verb or action. If I am using it in a comparative and it's short, we can add to it er, like fast, faster, or in the superlative, fastest. But if the adverb is long, we add before it more in comparative and most in superlative. Okay, like this example, Mona draws more beautifully than me. Here I'm describing Mona's drawing or the verb that Mona does. We add to beautiful ly, and before it we add my more. Why? Because I'm comparing between what Mona does and what Sally does. So why did we add more? Because it's a comparative form. We add more and then before the adverb of ly. If the adverb of ly is long, we can add before it more, more in comparative. But if it's in the superlative, we can use the most. Mona draws the most beautifully in the word. Okay, let's go to as plus adjective and as. We can use as plus adjective and as to express two things which are equal, which are the same. Like this example, to compare people or places or events or things when there is no difference. Use as plus adjective plus as. Remember, bare adjective. Bare adjective means without er or est, without more or most. Like this example, Peter is 24 years old. John is also 24 years old. How can I use as in this sentence? We can say Peter is as old as John. So we added or we write the adjective old between as. Remember, it's bare. Bare means without er or est. Like this example, Moscow is as cold as Saint Petersburg in winter. Okay, so they are the same. They are the same. There is no difference between them. So I used as plus bare adjective plus as. Like this example, Mona is as happy as Sally. They are the same. Or uh, Einstein is as famous as Darwin. They are the same. They are the same, as famous as. Or a tiger is as dangerous as a lion. They are the same. Dangerous as a lion. They are the same. So we can use as plus bare adjective plus as to express things or two people who are the same. Things or people who are the same. There is no difference between them. If there is difference between things and I want to use as, I change the sentence into negative. Like this example, Ali isn't as tall as Sam. Ali isn't as tall as Sam. If I want to express it in comparative form, I can say that Sam is taller than Ali. Sam is taller than Ali. How did I know? From the sentence of as. Ali isn't as tall as Sam. Means that Sam is taller than Ali. Like another example, Salma's new flat isn't as nice as her old one. Salma's new flat isn't as nice as her old new one. That means that Salma's old flat is nicer than her new one. So I can use the as in structure with negative to express inequality or things that are not the same. Paris isn't as big as Tokyo. Means that Tokyo is bigger than Paris. Remember, we take the last one and put it in the comparative form. When you say Sally isn't as short as Mona, huh, who here is shorter? I'm going to unmute you to answer me, but without making any noise, please. If you know the answer, raise your hand. If you know the answer, raise your hand. When I say Salma is shorter than Mona, Salma is shorter than Mona, You know that Salma is shorter than Mona. If I want to say Salma isn't as short as Mona, Salma isn't as short as Mona. Who is shorter here? Mona or Salma? Summer? Yes, Summer. Answer. Who is shorter, Salma or Mona? Hmm. Summer? Do you know the answer?
Miss, you unmuted me. I'm Farida.
Okay, Farida. Huh? What's your answer, Farida? When I say that Salma is shorter than Mona, who is shorter? Salma isn't as short as Mona. Who is shorter here?
Salma.
Salma isn't as short as Mona. So Mona is the shorter. The last one is the shorter. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Farida, did you understand?
Yes, I understand it.
Okay. Let's go to our lesson. Salma's Paris isn't as big as Tokyo. So here, which one is bigger? Tokyo, of course, the last one. Tokyo is bigger than Paris. Let's go to another part in our lesson. It's other forms of comparison. We will have other forms of comparison. Comparative and comparative. It's a form. You can use comparative and comparative. Like your English is getting better and better. You are getting fatter and fatter. So I can use comparative and comparative. Comparative and comparative. Other use is the comparative plus the comparative. Like what? Give me an example of this. The more you eat, the fatter you get. The more you study, the higher marks you score. Okay, so there are two other or new forms of comparative with comparative, like your English is getting better and better, and also the comparative and the comparative. The more you eat, the fatter you get. The more you study, the higher marks you get. Okay, so this is a new form. We have comparative and comparative, like you are getting fatter and fatter, or you are getting better and better, and also the comparative and the comparative. The more you eat, the fatter you study. The more you sleep, the later you wake up. Okay, the later you wake up. Let's go to another part of the list. Less plus adjective or adverb. Then this dress is less expensive than the one I bought yesterday. So I can use less in comparative form. Less in comparative form. Or in the superlative with of and in, like this. The film we watched yesterday was the least interesting of all. So I can use less or least. Less than comparative, and the least in the superlative. All of these, we will find them on the PowerPoint file that I'm going to send to you after the session, and also at our exercises. Note that we can use very, pretty, most, quite, fairly, rather, plus adjective or adverb in positive degree means without comparative, to emphasize the meaning or to stress the meaning. Like my bed is quite big. So I want you to memorize these words. These words are so important. Very, pretty, most, quite, fairly, rather. Again, very, pretty, most, quite, fairly, rather. Again, very, say it with me, say them with me. Very, pretty, most, quite, fairly, rather. I can use them with a bare adjective without comparative form to make what? To emphasize the meaning. In Arabic means أأكد على المعنى. Okay? So we can use very, pretty, most, quite, fairly, rather with bare adjective to emphasize the meaning. My room is quite big. He is fairly lazy. Okay, so we can use pretty, very, most, quite, fairly, rather with an adjective, a bare adjective to emphasize the meaning. Also, we can use these words, but with comparative form. A bit, a lot, even, far, much, and also rather. Rather is in the both forms with a comparative adjective. Here with comparative adjective to also stress the meaning or emphasize the meaning. أأكد المعنى. Like this. Ola is far more beautiful than her sister. I added the word far before the word more to emphasize the meaning. So there are some words that we can use to emphasize the meaning. Some of them with the comparative form, and some of them with bare form, without er or est. With positive degree or bare form, we have. Can you remember them? Very, pretty, most, rather, quite, fairly. And with comparative degree, we have a bit, a lot, even, for, much, and rather. All of these explanations are in the sheets that I gave you yesterday. Okay, put them in front of you and you can revise with me this part in the sheets. Let's go to the exercises. Here we have an exercise. It's correct the mistake. Here we have got mistakes and we are going to correct them. Please, I'm going to unmute you, or if you know the answer, raise your hand. If you know the answer, raise your hand. Number one, I am good than Rami. I'm good than Rami. Do you have any problem here? Of course we have. Hmm. Ala? Yes. Can you answer, Ala?
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
Didn't understand the last part.
Some words we can use them to emphasize the meaning. Some words we can use them to emphasize the meaning. To make the meaning clearer. أأكد المعنى. Like what? Like fairly, a bit, a lot, even, far, much. Some of them can be used with bare form, bare without er, and others we can use them with the comparative form. You have to memorize them. أحفظهم. They are at the end of the explanation that I gave you yesterday. If you open the sheets that I gave you yesterday, you will find them at the part of note. You have to memorize them. أحفظهم.
Which sheets?
The sheets that I gave them you yesterday. I gave them to you yesterday. At page 8. At page 8, the explanation of page 8. Okay?
Okay.
So who knows the answer? Who knows the answer? The answer of the question. The question, I am good than you, than Rami. There is a problem here. What's the problem? Mariam Ahmed. Yes, Mariam. Do you know the answer?
Yes,
What's it?
I am better than Rami.
Excellent. Well done. I'm better than Rami. Excellent, Mariam. Number 2. My friends are always rich than me. There is a problem here. Who knows the problem? How can I solve this problem? Noor? Yes, Noor. Hmm.
مس
Hmm.
هو المفروض احل ده في الشيت.
No, it's not in the sheet. It's on the computer, on your screen.
Okay.
What is the problem? My friends are always richer than me. What is the problem?
My friends are
Always? What's the problem? In the word reach, correct reach. It will
we
be.
have to shut always. We have to shut always. Yeah.
It will be. It's not the
My
the problem
friends.
is not in always. My friends are always correct reach. Yes, my dear. Can you correct it? Okay. So it will be richer. My friends are richer than me. Number 3. Summer is as cold as winter. Summer is as cold as winter. In the meaning, is it correct? Is summer is as cold as winter? No, they are not the same. Khadija Ihab. Khadija. Yes.
Winter
Hmm.
is
Are they the same? Summer and winter are the same? Hmm. Do you know the answer?
Yes, it's
What's it?
um summer
Hmm.
is as hot as winter.
No, they are not hot. They are not the same. So the answer will be summer isn't as cold as winter because they are not the same. So winter is colder than summer. Here I'm going to change the sentence into negative. Number three or number four. The lion is bigger than the cat. Do you have a problem here? Of course we have. Who can solve this problem? Who can solve this problem? Um, we have Basma, Ramadan, Basma. Yes, Basma. Basma, do you know the answer?
I'm Judy. You unmuted me.
Yes, Juji. There is a problem in the mouse. Sorry, sorry, Basma. Hmm. What's your answer, Juji? Hmm. Do you have a problem here in the word bigger?
No.
Of course we have. What's the problem? What's the problem, Juji? Okay, thank you, Juji. In G, bigger will be with double G because we have got a vowel before the last letter. Number five, Hani is more tall than Mary. Harry is more tall than Mary. Who knows the answer? Basma, I'm going to concentrate. Yes, yes, Basma. Do you know the answer? Basma Ramadan Mahmoud. Hmm. Hmm. Hani is more tall than Mary. Do you have a problem here?
Henny is taller than.
Excellent. The right answer is taller than, not more tall, because tall is a short adjective. It takes er. Also, we have class 6A. Sorry, it will be best. I cannot see the sentence, so it will be best. Number seven, I have got least apples than him. Hmm. I have got least apples than him. It will be less than because I'm making comparative. Less than. Number eight, English is the important subject of all. Is the important subject of all. Hmm. What is the problem here? Yasmin Hani. Yasmin Hani. Yes, Yasmin. Hmm. Do you see the problem? English is the important subject of all.
Yes,
What's the answer?
English is the most important.
Excellent. The right answer is the most important subject of all. The most important subject of all. Thank you, my dear. So till now we finished our correct the mistake. We will have rewrite. Number one, Tom is better than John. Tom is better than John. He wants you to use as is. So I'm going to change the sentence into negative and حنين أشرف. حنين أشرف. Yes, حنين.
ميس هو
Hmm.
احنا بنحل فين لان انا فاتحة
Rewrite.
شيت.
We are in rewrite on your screen. We are not in the book. Answer this sentence. Hmm.
مفيش حاجة على السكرين قدامي.
Can't you see the
I don't
screen?
see anything. Yes,
So there is a problem in your internet.
I don't see anything in.
Okay, number who can answer this? Hana Hindawi. Hana Hindawi. Yes, yes, Hana. Can you see the
Uh,
screen?
yes, miss.
Hmm.
Yes.
Can you answer this?
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
لا, John isn't as better as as Tom.
Remember, between as we add the adjective, bare adjective, without comparative, without superlative.
It will be good.
Good. So you'll start with John as what you said. John isn't.
John
Huh? Hmm.
isn't as good as Tom.
Perfect. Well done. Well done. John isn't as good as Tom. Well done. Let's go to number 2. My house isn't as far from the school as yours. He wants you to use further to make comparative form. Comparative form. Who knows the answer? Who knows the answer? Think of it. Hmm. Who knows the answer? No one raised her hand except Malak. Malak Tamer. Sorry. Where is Malak? Did you lower your hand, Malak? Arwa Nabil. Yes, Arwa Nabil. Hmm. Answer. Do you know the answer, Arwa? So let's go to Malak Tamer. Yes, Malak. What's your answer, Malak? My house
My
isn't as
house
far from the school as yours. Huh? You will start with.
father.
He wants you to use further. Start with your house. Your house.
The house
Your
isn't
house. Your house is. Hmm.
your house isn't
No, not isn't. You will make a comparative sentence. Normal comparative sentence. Your house
um
is
your house
further
further than
hmm,
the school.
than my house or mine. So the right answer, your house is further from the school than my house. Excellent. Let's go to number 3. Ahmed is taller than me. Much. Much is from the words that we can put before the comparative to emphasize the meaning. To emphasize the meaning. Hmm. Who knows the answer? Hur? Yes, Hur? Okay, we are back again. We are back again. I'm going to admit you all. We are back again. Admit all. Okay, we will complete.
Can I answer?
Yes, answer. What's your name?
Can I answer
Farida.
after her?
My name is Farida.
Yes, Farida, answer. Hmm.
Ahmed is much tall than me.
It will be taller. Okay,
Okay.
it will be taller. I'm going to admit your friends all. Okay. Ahmad is much taller than me. You have to memorize them or study them. In Arabic means أحفظهم. These words you have to نحفظهم. Okay. Much comes before the comparative form. Let's go. Admit all. Okay. Let's go to this sentence. As he works faster, he gets home soon. He wants you to use the. The comparative, the comparative, the comparative, the comparative. Who knows the answer? Rasha, Rasha Khalid, Rasha Khalid. Yes. Do you know the answer? Yes, Rasha. Hmm. Okay. Do you know the
يا
answer?
ميس يا ميس
Hmm.
أنا لسه كنت عامل رينيم ساجل ماشي.
Okay.
اه
Do you know the answer?
آه.
Hmm.
آه.
Okay. Think of it because we don't have time. The answer is the faster he works, the sooner he gets home. The faster he works, the sooner he gets home. Number 5. I have never seen such a bad film. He wants you here to use that's. It will be that's the worst film I have ever seen. That's the worst film I have ever seen. We ended our PowerPoint part. Let's go to the workbook. I want you to open the workbook. The workbook. We will open at the workbook page. At the workbook page 6. Page 6 at the workbook. We will work at the workbook and also the grammar book. Page 6 in the workbook, exercise D. Nowadays, we will complete the text with the correct form of the words in brackets. The word in brackets, we are going to correct them. Okay? In the workbook. We are in the workbook. Number 1. Nowadays, making a video of yourself is not as, and we have got the word strange. Correct the word strange. How can it be? Who knows the answer? If you know, raise your hand. Jana Osama? Yes, Jana? Do you know the answer?
Yes.
It will be is not
I
as. Correct, strange.
as
Between as, we put
strange
the adjective, bare
strange
adjective. Bare adjective without anything. So it will remain as it is. It will be strange as it
strange.
is. Strange like what is it? Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go to number 2. As it's used as it used to be, almost everyone has a smartphone with a camera. So taking up bus time means a hobby like vlogging to make videos is easy than. We will make it in comparative form, so it will be easier than. You might expect this is probably the reason he wants you here to use many. The reason more and more, comparative and comparative. Okay. More people are becoming vloggers. A vlogger is someone who makes videos about their everyday life or topics that they find interesting. The videos are the comparative. So it will be the more entertaining, the more popular. Why? Because they are long adjectives. We use the more, the more. Vloggers will become, some vloggers become so popular from their videos that they even start making money from them. Heather Jason is one of those people. She was a university student who started making short, funny videos about historical events for fun. She knew that some people think history is one of the That means superlative, and boring can take est, so it will be the most boring subject, but she wanted to show them that it can be huh, it can be more interesting, comparative than they think. Her videos soon became very popular, especially among secondary school students, and they had so many views that she decided to make it a full-time job. Heather says, I love being a history vlogger. The superlative, it will be the most creative part of my job is thinking of a new video idea that will be as between as the adjective is bare without anything, so it will remain as it will be as good as, or even here than, so it will be comparative. The comparative of good is better. Okay, let's go to the exercise after it, which is exercise E. Complete the second sentence so that it has a similar meaning to the first sentence using the word given. Don't change the words given. You must use between 2 or 5 words, including the word given. It's like rewrite, as it a rewrite exercise. Fred is taller than Kevin. He wants you here to change the sentence into negative. Start with Kevin. So it will be Kevin. Who knows the answer? Yes, Jasmine Ihab. Yes, Jasmine. Do you know the answer? Fred is taller than Kevin. You will start with Kevin and change the sentence into negative. Jasmine, do you know the answer? You raised your hand. What is the answer? You raised your hand. Jasmine Ihab. Do you know the answer?
سامعني يا ميس.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Kevin is shorter than Fred.
You will change the sentence into negative. He wants you to use not. So you will get the opposite of taller. Put not and get the opposite of taller. So it will be isn't.
Kevin is not shorter than Fred.
Excellent. Or we can make it with as form. It will be Kevin isn't as tall as Fred. Isn't it can be isn't taller than or isn't as tall as. It can be the same. Well done, my dear. Let's go to number 2. Lisa has more free time than Donald. He wants you to use as. Donald doesn't have. Who knows the answer? I'm going to answer it because we don't have time. As much free time as. As much free time as. I want you to write down the answers in your book. Write the answers in your workbook, page 6, exercise E. Kelly's hair is a lot shorter than Patty's. Kelly's hair, he wants you to use much. It will be is much shorter than. Is much shorter than. The weather is getting very cold. The weather is getting comparative. It will be colder and colder. The weather is getting colder and colder. If Mandy keeps trying, math will become easy for her. More. The more, the comparative. It will be the more Mandy tries, the easier math will become for her. I'm not as interested in documentaries as my sister is. Less, to make comparative. I'm less interested in documentaries than. I'm less interested in documentaries than. This is the comparative form. So we finished the workbook answers for page 8. We have got homework in the workbook. It's at page 5. The homework of the workbook, page 5, exercise B. Page 5, exercise B is homework. So I'm going to go to the homework exercise this at page 5. So the homework of the workbook is page 5, exercise B. It's your homework at the workbook. Exercise B at the workbook. I want you now to open the sheets that I gave to you yesterday. We have at page 8, in the grammar book that I copied for you yesterday, we have got homework exercises A and B. Exercises A and B. Page 8 in the grammar book, the sheets that you had yesterday. Exercises A and B. And then we will go to page from the sheets that you received yesterday. You will go to page 10. Page 10. Exercise E. Page 10, exercise E. Page 10, exercise E. I'm going to try to put the book in front of you. Page 10, exercise E. Complete the second sentence. Complete the second sentence. So it has the similar meaning. It's like rewrite. It's like a rewrite. Okay. Number 1. Who can read number 1? Read, not only answer. I want read. Who can read number 1? Furat Omar. Furat Omar. Yes, yes, Furat. Can you read the sentence?
Yes.
Yes, read it.
I
Everyone?
received a very strange email and I don't know who the...
My dear, we are at exercise E, page 10. Exercise E, page 10. Page 10
مش
in the
موجود
grammar book.
عندي.
Do you have the sheets? Did you receive yesterday's sheet?
Yes.
Okay, at page 10, exercise E. Read number 1.
Okay.
Read, my dear, I'm waiting. Who reads? Who can read? Who can read? M. Muhammad. M. Muhammad. You can write with your name. Yes, read number 1 in this exercise. Read. Can you read?
Yeah.
Read.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Okay, who can read? Who can read? Yes, Ala. Read. Read, Ala.
Miss, we didn't receive any sheets.
My dear, I gave you to you yesterday 2 sheets. Do you have them with you now?
No, we didn't get anything.
Okay. Were you absent yesterday?
No, I was in the school.
No, I gave you 2 sheets for grammar book because you didn't receive your grammar book. They are with you. Did you get them?
You didn't. No.
Which class are you in?
I'm in 6F.
So I gave you the sheets.
No.
Okay. Who has got the sheet to open her hand? To raise her hand and read the sentence. Please raise your hand if you have got the sheets. Yes, Judy. Judy Khaled.
ميس سماح، هو حضرتك اديتينا شيت جرامر كده بس هو واحد مش فيه. حضرتك بتقولي دلوقتي بي، احنا دلوقتي البي اللي انت حضرتك كده قلتي ان هو هومورك، هو ايه في الشيت بيج 8 هو هومورك كده، بس انا مش لاقيه انت حضرتك بتحلي بي ولا ايه.
Do you have the sheets, my dear, in front of you now? Turn them till you find page 10. Page 10. Can you find page 10?
Yes.
It's printed, page 10. Read number 1 in exercise E.
E?
امم
بس ايه مش زي حضرتك، انا قعدت ابص مش زي حضرتك خالص. هو ايه عندنا everyone
ايوه
agrees
say
that
it. Oh,
Fred is
everyone, it's not on the screen my dear, read it. Everyone agrees.
okay.
Hmm.
Everyone agrees that Fred is more active than Ted.
Excellent. He wants you to use as. Can you answer it? Hmm.
Everyone agrees that
Everyone
Ted
agrees that Ted
isn't
isn't hmm,
as
hmm,
more
as active as.
as active as.
As active as. So the right answer is as active as. In number one, exercise E, as active as. It's not on the screen. Remember, it's not on the screen. This exercise is in your sheets. Is in your sheets. Open your sheets. It's not on the screen. Exercise E number one. The answer of number one is as active as. As active as. Number two. Who can read number two? In exercise E. Who can read number two? Yes. Number two. Farida. Farida Ahmed 6F. Yes. Yes, Farida. Can you read?
Yes.
Read.
Um,
Hmm.
as we climbed higher, we had more difficult breathing.
Difficulty breathing. Okay. He wants you to use harder. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. It will be comparative. Comparative. The higher, the higher we climbed, the higher we climbed, hmm, the
the
harder,
higher we climbed,
the harder
the
it was.
harder it was to breathe.
Okay. To breathe. To breathe. Okay.
To
Or to
breathe.
breath.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you say it all again?
The higher we climbed, the harder it was to breathe.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Let's go to number. I'm going to say the answers again. The answer of number one is as active as. The answer of number two is higher we climbed the harder. Higher we climbed the harder. Number three, it's quite a difficult activity. Don't you think? Here he wants you to use the word fairly. Fairly. Fairly comes with the bare adjectives. Fairly. Who knows the answer? Who can answer it? Yes. Ala, did you find the sheets? Are you following?
Yes, Miss, but we didn't get any sheets.
I swear I gave you yesterday sheets. You are from
No.
6F.
Yes.
Mrs. Mervat gave them to you. Don't you have the sheets?
No,
Okay, I'm
Miss
going
Mervet.
to send you a copy on the WhatsApp site. Let's
Okay.
go to another one who has got a sheet. Aisha Darwish. Yes, Aisha. Do you have your sheets? Do you have your sheets, Aisha? Hmm. Okay, another one. Yasmin Hani. Yasmin Hani. Yes, Yasmin. Yasmin
Yes,
Hani. Hmm.
yes,
Can you answer number three? It's
yes.
hmm,
It's quite a different activity, don't you?
it's a fairly you
It's
you
a
you want
fairy activity, don't you think?
difficult activity. It's a fairly difficult activity. So the right answer, a fairly difficult activity.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Number four. Who can read number four? Read only. Read only. Malak, Tamer, read. Read number four.
Number 4.
Hmm.
He couldn't find a cheaper
Cheaper
computer.
computer. He couldn't find a cheaper computer. He wants you here to use the. That was, you will change it into superlative. Thank you, my dear. Who knows the answer? Who knows the answer?
Miss,
Hmm.
can you
Yes.
set the number 2?
Say number 2 again. The answer of
Yes.
number 2, higher we climbed, the harder. Higher we climbed, the harder. Thank you, my dear. Let's go to the one who can answer number 4. That was, that was, hmm, uh, ج- جنة أسامة. جنة أسامة. Yes, جنة أسامة. Hmm.
The
جنة أسامة. Huh.
cheapest computer.
Excellent. He could find. That was the cheapest computer he could find. The cheapest computer. Thank you, my dear. Let's go to number 5. Who can read number 5? Another one can read number 5. Salma Mustafa Musa. Yes. Can you read number 5, Salma? Hmm. The wizard. Can you read number 5? Do you have your sheets? Hmm. Salma. Salma Mustafa Musa. I unmuted you. Can you read number 5? Salma, do you have your sheets? Okay, let's go to another one. Furat Omar. Yes, Furat. Furat Omar. Hmm.
Miss,
Hmm. Can you
the
read number
weather
5?
was, yes,
Hmm.
the weather was getting worse by the time, so
By
we
the
decided
minute.
not to, by
So
the
we
minute,
decided.
not to go out. The weather was getting,
Hmm. Comparative. What is the comparative word in the last sentence or in the sentence? The weather was getting.
getting worse.
Excellent. Worse and worse. Worse and
Yes.
worse. WORSE. Worse and worse. Thank you, my dear. Who can read number 6? Number 6. The journey was less tiring. Hmm. Read number 6. I want all of you to raise your hand. It's only reading. Only reading. Yes, Basma. Basma Ramadan. Basma Ramadan. Hmm. Can you read it? Hmm. Can
The
you read number
journey,
6? The journey was.
the journey was less tiring than I thought it would be.
Hmm. Here, the exercise wants you to use as. Can you do it, Basma? The journey.
The journey isn't as tiring as I thought it would be.
The sentence is in the past, so it will be wasn't. Wasn't as tiring as. Wasn't as tiring as. Excellent. Thank you, my dear. Number 7 and the last one. Who can read number 7? Number 7. I want a new one. Hannah Muhammad 6F. Hannah Muhammad. Yes. Hannah Muhammad. Can you read number 7? Only read.
Miss, I don't have the sheet because no one gave us a sheet.
In 6F, no one gave you the sheets?
No one gave us a sheet. In the last session, no one gave us a sheet. In your session, no one gave us a sheet. Or after it, no one gave us a sheet.
Okay, thank you, my dear. Who has her sheets? Jasmine Ihab. Yes, Jasmine Ihab. Can you read number 7?
Yes.
Hmm.
None of my colleagues are more outgoing
Colleagues.
than Betty.
Colleagues means friends. None of my colleagues are more
Are
outgoing.
more outgoing than Betty.
Hmm. Most. Can you answer it? Betty is.
Yes.
Hmm.
Betty is the most outgoing of all my colleges.
Colleagues means friends. Excellent. Betty is the most outgoing of all my colleagues. Okay, thank you. So the homework in the sheets will be at page 8, exercises A and B, and also we have got homework in the workbook, which is page 5, exercise B. If you don't have your sheets, I'm going to give you them when you come next Wednesday. But we finished our PowerPoint file and we answered some exercises in the workbook. What about the grammar book? If you have got your sheets, do your homework in the sheets. But if you don't have your sheets, wait for next Wednesday. We are going to give you your sheets. Do you have any question? If you have got questions, you can send them on the group. We made for yesterday groups for you to ask any question if you want. If you have got a problem, you can ask me on the private site on the WhatsApp. If you have got any problem, you can ask me. Our session has just ended. So see you soon and thank you and goodbye.